Hi guys, I'm Kat and welcome back to my channel. Today we are sitting in my room, just chilling. You're probably gonna hear my fan and stuff like that, and so we're just sitting in my room. And today I was inspired to make this video. I was talking to some friends and stuff about my previous job, and I was also going through my old videos and seeing some videos about me talking about my previous job. So basically, my previous job, I worked at an adult store for 4 years. I was a manager for 3.5, and basically what the store sold was like adult products, toys, lingerie, lubricants, stuff like that. And I made videos about how like things that like questions I was asked and what it's like to work there. And I was thinking about I've been thinking about wanting to make more videos about working in an adult store. I was thinking about making a separate channel on like all the things that I learned and some educational stuff, but I don't know yet. But I was thinking about I wanted to make another video about working in an adult store, but I didn't know exactly what to think about. And then someone asked me recently, well, what do you miss about it? What do you miss about working there? And then it just kind of sparked some inspiration. So today in this video, I want to talk about the things that I miss about working at an adult store and things that I don't miss. Because there are definitely things that I do miss and things that I don't. So yeah, let's get started. I'm so tired today. I work contacts all day today. I spent some time with my family and I work contacts. And I haven't worn contacts in such a long time that my eyeballs are so tired. But so I worked at an adult store for 4 years. I was a manager for 3.5. And the way I came upon that job was I was just walking down the street. I saw that they were hiring and I decided to apply. I started as an associate, and then 6 months after that I became a sales lead, and then about 2.5 years, probably a year or two after that, I became the assistant manager. So I was there for 4 years. The reason I don't work there is a whole different video, but basically a lot of things happened that were kind of traumatic and kind of awful, and then something happened near the end of me working there that really just was like the nail in the coffin. So I don't work there anymore. I have a different job now, which I really love, and I'm really happy that I work there, and I do really well at it. And so, yeah, that's kind of the update. So first, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to say things that I don't miss and then things that I do miss. I'm going to start with one, I'm going to go back and forth between the two, where it's I don't miss, I do miss, I don't miss, I don't miss, I do miss, and just kind of go from there. So let's start with something that I don't miss about working at an adult store, and that is the gross phone calls. I don't miss gross prank calls, or really prank calls in general, but most of the gross ones. There was one time where I had a gentleman call, and sometimes people would call us to ask us questions about the product, like lubes that were safe to use with the product, and sometimes, they were actual questions, and other times it would be like a trap where they'd ask you a question and then do something gross, and this guy acted like he was asking me a question, so I thought, oh, he's just asking me a question, and then he goes, oh, well, I have it sitting on my lap right now, should I just slide it on? And started talking about really gross stuff. And the amount of times working there in 4 years, I had so many people try to canoodle themselves to my voice on the phone, and it would also happen to my associates as well. And at first it was I don't want to be rude and stuff like that, and I just want to tell them it's inappropriate, and now I would just hang up and be fuck off. Basically, I don't miss that. I don't miss how gross it is, and the prank calls and the kids calling and asking for big black dildos, stupid shit. And what's funny is I believe that prank calling is against the law. And also, if you're calling somewhere and trying to masturbate to their voice, that's sexual harassment, which is also illegal. And we had caller ID, and one of my favorite things, here's some advice. If you're going to work at an adult store and you have caller ID, if you see their name, say it in the phone call. So if their name is Steven Smith, And you should be like, well, Stephen Smith, I think this is really inappropriate. And it's so funny because the silence of like, oh my god, this person knows my name. It's like, yeah, of course I do, bitch. We have caller ID. What the hell are you talking about? Like, at least try to call anonymously. Like, don't call me from your actual phone. And there would be times where we'd have kids call, and I would say their name and be like, just so you know, this is illegal, and if you keep calling us back, I'm going to give this phone number to the police, and then they can deal with it. And it would just be like so funny. But I don't miss that. I don't miss, like, just, it's such an awkward position to be put into, because, like, it's gross, and it makes you feel gross and uncomfortable, and it's so, I just don't understand people and why they think that's okay. But it's disgusting. Now, something I do miss about working at an adult store is the educational part of working there, learning something new about the product, about ingredients, about lubricants, about lingerie, like learning about what ingredients are safe for people who are pregnant or menopausal, people who are breastfeeding, people who have ED, people who have diabetes, you know, learning ingredients that are good for them, ingredients that aren't good for them, ingredients for people who maybe transitioned, lubes that would be for transition, toys, safe things, how lingerie is made, and being able to pass that education and that knowledge on to other people, and seeing that moment of that light going on in their head and realizing the education. But another part that I loved about the educational aspect was that I would learn new things too. People would teach me new things, because like I'm very educated in like the toys and lube and stuff like that, but I'm not educated in every like fetish or like someone who's, I'm female bodied, I'm not male bodied, I'm not transgender, I'm not asexual, like stuff like that, where it's like, that's not my journey. And so when someone would take the time to educate me and let me know, like, I had a person, she came in and she had just transitioned from male to female, and she was telling me that her clitoris was like really sensitive and engorged because like she had just transitioned, and she got the green light that it was okay to kind of get back into the sexual world, and it was really sensitive, and every time her partner even touched the clitoris, it would just be so uncomfortable. And she educated me on all of that, and it was so helpful because the next person that came in after that was kind of in a similar situation, I knew exactly what to say. Or like someone who's menopausal, like I would have women who are menopausal and who would come in and tell me what worked for them and what didn't, and then next time if I had someone else who was menopausal, I would know exactly what to help them with, because I'd be like, oh well, I know this person who has had menopause and it works for them, so it'll probably work for you. So something to always remember is, yes, you are the educator. You're supposed to create a safe place and educate them on product and ingredients and stuff like that. But you are also the student too. Like, people who go into the job thinking that they know better than everybody else and they have all the knowledge don't really succeed very well, because when you work in this industry, it's constantly growing and you're constantly learning new things. And if you think that you know everything, you're wrong. And if you think the customer can't teach you something, you're also wrong, because they might know something that you don't. Like, you don't know everything. So just remembering that, yes, you're the educator, but you can also be the student. And to not be afraid to ask questions and do your own research, because the more knowledge you have, the more successful you'll be and the more you'll be able to help people. Another thing that I don't miss is the returns, or people trying to return product. So there was probably like 5 things. I could probably count on one hand the amount of things that we would allow for exchange. We didn't do returns. We did store credit, or we did exchanges. We didn't do refunds. And it's because, like, this is an adult store. We sell adult products. Do you really want to go somewhere that is going to accept an adult product back? That's gross. So we would get people who would want to return things all the time. Lingerie, toys. A lot of the time it'd be toys. And they'd want to return it. And then when we told them no, they'd be like, I don't understand why I can't return it. Like, I haven't even opened the box. It's like, I'm sorry, but this is an adult product and it's for safety reasons. I can't take it back. There was one time I had a guy come in And he brought some underwear with him, and he told me that they came ripped and they didn't fit his wife. I was like, okay. So I found the rip. Didn't think to examine the underwear altogether, which I should have at that point, but there was a rip, and so I went to a manager, and I was like, he said that these were ripped. She asked if they had been unworn, and I said he said they were, but then we looked at the underwear, and there was leftovers, residue, stuff on the underwear, and they had clearly been worn. And so I went back to him and I was like, I'm sorry, we can't take these back. These have clearly been worn. And he goes, no, they haven't. And so I showed it to him. All the stuff, discharge, that was still on there. And he goes, well, I spend like $300 here a week, so there's really nothing you can do for me. And I'm like, no, there's nothing I can do for you. And to me, what it looked like was that, so they were the kind of underwear, they have like adjusters on the side, kind of like bra straps, and you could adjust it to make them bigger or smaller. And I bet you anything what happened was she tried to pull them on and they tore. But they had clearly been worn. So at that store, we didn't accept underwear back at all. But like there would be exceptions. So like if you bought them the day before and they were torn, then maybe. But other than that, no. And like, side note, some like toy brands have warranties on them. And so like if the toy's motor broke down, then you could bring it back to the store and you could use the warranty for that. But we had a couple requirements. You know, we had to have the packaging, the receipt, and the recharger cord if it was rechargeable. And a lot of the times people would try to bring a toy back without the packaging or without the charger cord, and we'd have to tell them that we couldn't do it because like these are the requirements that the manufacturer makes, and we just have to tell you that because like toys like brands like Fun Factory are very sustainable and they use recycled packaging. So they require their packaging to come back so they can recycle it, but also they like their toys back and everything that goes with it, so that way they can figure out, okay, what broke? How did this break? What can we do to fix it? But people would bring toys back for the warranty and they wouldn't be cleaned. They wouldn't clean them, which is beyond the word disgusting, because I would take them out of the packaging and they would still be stuff crusted on the toy. And not even wearing 5 pairs of gloves would make me feel okay. And so it got to the point where I would tell people, we need the packaging, the charger cord, the receipt, and it has to be cleaned. Like, I shouldn't have to look at you, a grown-ass adult, to tell you to clean your toys. First of all, clean your toys, please. If you have any toys, the amount of people that would ask me if they need toy cleaner or to clean their toys is ridiculous. So, PSA, clean your toys. And if you have to bring a toy back, if it has a warranty, clean it. It's disgusting. But, oh my God, I don't miss people trying to return things. And I'm getting upset. It's like, have some common sense. You're in an adult store. Would you want to buy a toy from an adult store that accepts returns? Are you serious? Like, let's think about it, Mary. Think about it. Do you want to go to an establishment and people be like, oh, well, you can do returns on Amazon? It's like, first of all, ew. How do you know that you're not getting a cleaned, refurbished toy? How do you know that you're not getting a refurbished toy that was just cleaned and then repackaged? You don't know that. And there would be like reviews on the Google that would say like, just do this online because they accept returns. It's like, I think you need to raise your standards and understand that there is a chance that if you purchase a toy from a place that does returns, they could destroy it. It's biohazard. They could destroy it. There's a chance that they could and just send it back to the manufacturer, but there's also a chance that they could just clean them, refurbish them, and then put them back in a package. So, you know, and I don't miss the arguments, I don't miss the stupidity, and I don't miss how disgusting it usually was, because usually it was. And also, one of our policies was that the tag has to be attached. So if they purchased a clothing item that could be exchanged or get store credit for, the policy was it had to be unworn, unwashed, and the tag had to be attached. Unworn meaning they try it on, they take it off, right? And the tag has to stay attached. And we tell people that all of the time. We even stamped our receipts, and we'd have people come back with tags unattached, and we'd have to tell them, I'm sorry, the tag's not attached, so I can't take it back. Well, you could just reattach it. yeah, but I can't because when the tag is detached, I don't know if you just wore it and then want to take it back. I don't know that. And if it smells like perfume, if it smells like cigarettes or something like that, I can't take it back because I can't resell it. So it was just, I can tell you anything about returns when it comes to retail. People want to tear their hair out because even if it's like a really simple, understandable policy, the moment you tell someone no, they're like, excuse me. But when it comes to the adult industry of retail, it gets gross. What I do miss though is helping people feel good about themselves. I loved dressing people when it came to lingerie. I loved helping people find things and pieces for them to wear. And the amount of people that would come in and tell me like, I'm too fat, I'm too skinny, I'm not curvy enough, my boobs are too big, my boobs are too small, I'm male, I can't wear lingerie because I'm a guy. First of all, PSA, I just want to say something. I got a comment on one of my videos a while ago about adult stores, and they told me that they went to go buy something and they were looking at a section that's meant for females, quote unquote, and they were looking at a toy, and the worker there told him that these are for females and you can't get them. Let me show you where the male toys are. Ma'am, I think you should work somewhere else. Because if you're not educated enough and open-minded enough to realize that anybody can wear or use anything as long as they're safe about it, then maybe you should work somewhere else. Because that kind of thing would just get my blood boiling. I hate when people are like, you can't wear that, that's for a girl. Since when do clothes have gender? Like even bras, like sure bras are meant to hold boobs, but you can get inserts, you can get fake boobs, or why do you need them to be filled out? What if he just wants to wear a bra because it's sexy? Like, no. And I loved dressing men. My favorite thing to do was putting men in corsets. It was the best. I miss that so much. But I miss helping people feel like find their sexy. Because I would always get people that would just be like, I can't find lingerie because I just feel like I look awful in it. It doesn't fit me right. And having that moment in the dressing room where they would look at themselves in that piece and you could see that realization that, yeah, they're sexy. It looks good. Like seeing that moment where they realize, damn, maybe I do look good in lingerie. And some advice from me, if you're helping someone that has either a hard time finding lingerie or has never worn lingerie, pick pieces out of each kind of style. So you have your teddies, your chemises, your rompers, your two pieces, your robes, your baby dolls. Pick a piece from each category and have them try on something from each category. That way when they try them all on, they can figure out, okay, I don't like baby dolls, but I do like chemises because I like the form fit. Or I don't like chemises or baby dolls, but I like the teddy because I like that it shows off my legs. You know, stuff like that. That way they can figure out what works for them and what doesn't. Also, one problem I have when it comes to lingerie is they seem to think that if you're like plus size, you have big boobs and like a big butt. Or they think if you're skinnier, you have small boobs. It's like, no, because I know a lot of people who have got some well-endowed boobs and really teeny tiny waists. So if that happens, sometimes a two-piece set is the best. But, you know, sometimes I would say just get a robe, get some pasties and some sexy underwear and just like walk around. Like, if your partner's into you, they're not going to care what the wrapping is because it's not about the lingerie, it's about you. The lingerie is just the fancy wrapping that you're putting on the actual gift, you know? It's a privilege that they even get to see you in it, let alone get to do whatever you're about to do. Like, I'm just saying. But I loved helping people feel good about themselves and realize their sexy badassness and realize that it's not about you, it's about the clothes. And finding that confidence and realizing that, like, you are so worth everything in this world and you should not feel bad about yourself because a lot of the time it's because that's what society is saying, you know, and we need to start loving ourselves and realizing that it's not about what they want, it's about what we want. And it's not about the clothes, it's about the person wearing the clothes. Because the way manufacturers make clothing, lingerie or otherwise, is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Like, I can go to American Eagle and wear like a 16 in one pair of pants and then have to wear like a 14, an 18, a 12. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But I miss that bonding moment of helping this person find that piece that makes them see that, damn, they are sexy. Like, you are sexy. You are so sexy, and you don't need lingerie to prove that. But I'm more than happy to get you a piece that's going to help you realize that. Now, something I don't miss is asking for IDs. So, I live in Utah. I work at an adult store in Utah, or I worked at an adult store in Utah. And so where I worked, there were two separate areas. You had the outer area that had like the lingerie, the lingerie, the shoes, the lubes. And then you had a separate room that we called the adult room that had all the toys and stuff like that. And it made it so like, you know, if people wanted to bring their kids or had to bring their kids with them, they could be out in the lingerie area, but they couldn't be, you know, in the adult room. Or sometimes kids would need, like teenagers would need stockings, you know? And also, like, I feel like we also had condoms in the place that younger people could be in. And it's like, honestly, if I have a younger couple that's like 17 coming in and asking for condoms, I'll want to tell them that maybe they shouldn't be having sex. But at the same time, at least you're trying to have safe sex, you know? But, so in order to go to the adult room, we'd have to ask for your ID. And it didn't matter how old you were, because we would ask for ID not just to look at your date of birth, but to also make sure that it wasn't expired. Because I believe, and I could be wrong, and someone could re-educate me, in the state of Utah, in order to purchase certain things or use or anything, you have to have a valid ID. And technically, if you go to a bar or to buy cigarettes, they should be asking for your ID to make sure that it's not expired. Because the amount of times people will be like, well, they don't check my ID at the gas station for cigarettes or for the liquor store. First of all, do we look like the liquor store? And second, they should be. It's also store policy. This is the rules that they have given me. And people would get mad. They would get mad. And it's like, clearly I can tell you're old enough to be my parents or to be my grandparents. That's not the point. I need to have your ID. And people, like, would get so mad at me. I would get people be like, well, I'm pregnant, so like clearly I'm old enough to go in there. And it's like, bitch, I have a friend who got pregnant when she was 15. Like, that doesn't, all because you're pregnant doesn't mean that you're old enough to go into an adult room. Like, it doesn't. And like, I would have people get mad at me and start treating me like a child or tell me that I was a child. And it's like, I'm sorry, but you're a grown-ass man that knows he should have his driver's license. Or a grown-ass man whose ID has been expired since 2018, but I'm the child. Okay. I would only occasionally, as the manager, make exceptions. Like, okay. Sometimes I would if, like, clearly these people are old enough to be my grandparents, and they're just trying to spice up their relationship. They've been together for years. Sure. Okay. But I would tell them, I'll make an exception now, but the next time you come in, you have to have your ID. And another thing when it came to IDs is that we would check people's IDs for their debit and credit cards. Because we would have people come in with, like, their parents' credit card or their ex-husband or ex-girlfriend or ex's credit cards and try to buy a lot of stuff with all their money. And so we had to start checking everybody's ID with any debit card. And people would get mad. Because we'd have to tell people, I'm sorry, if you don't have your ID, you can't use that card. Well, I don't have any cash. Well, you can go to the gas station next door and go to the ATM, because people would get upset. And it's like, I'm sorry, but this is our store policy. I can't take your card if you don't have a matching ID. And it'd have to be matching. Even if it's your husband's card and you have the same last name, I can't take your ID. Like, I'm sorry, because, like, there's a lot of people who, like, there are people who have my last name and I don't know who the hell they are. That doesn't mean that, like, they have the right to use my card. So I don't miss it. I don't miss checking IDs. I don't miss being, like, abused just because it takes 3 seconds to take your ID out. Like, the amount of times people would argue with us about taking out their ID and, like, I'm old enough. I'm old enough to be your dad. like, well, I know that you're really old, but like I still need to see it. And it takes 3 seconds to just take out your ID. We don't even have to talk. Just take out your ID, show it to me, I'll look at it, tell you if you can go in there. That's it. That's it. But the amount of times, the 10 minutes you're sitting here arguing with me about an ID, you could have gone to your car, grabbed your ID, showed it to me, and then gone back there. But you would rather yell at me and tell me that you're clearly old enough. It's like, I don't care, Betty. I don't care that you're old enough, Samson. You need to go get your fucking ID. And I don't miss that. I don't miss the childlike. Like, just like, how hard is it? It's not hard. And also, this is a store policy and I just work here. There's no reason for you to treat me badly. And we would get a lot of people that were really great and would show us their ID and would be really understanding if they didn't have it and we couldn't let them back there. And those people I adored, because it just, like, every time I would expect people to get mad, like, when they would be like, oh, no, I get it, then I'd be like, what? Like, you understand? Like, okay. But yeah, I don't miss that. I don't know if it's like that in any other state that has adult stores or like stuff like that. I don't know what it is, if it's like that for you, but if it is, I'm so sorry. Something I do miss is getting to meet the representatives from all of the brands that we would sell. I got to meet representatives for Wow Tech, which is Womanizer and WeVibe, and like Ion, the Airwave or Ion, and a bunch of other ones. But I got to meet representatives from there. I got to meet representatives from Fun Factory and Hot Octopus and Uberlube and just a lot of them, because it was just like, and Doc Johnson, being able to meet these people and actually seeing them and getting the opportunity to be educated by people who actually work with this product, like who sell it and have been there for the manufacturing process, is really so beneficial, because you learn about the product in a way that you couldn't if you just read the box. Like, they can ask questions, you can ask them questions and they can tell you things that you couldn't learn from reading the box or watching a video on the internet or like anything like that. It was a great opportunity. And not just being able to sit and listen to them talk, but actually like being able to walk up to these representatives and talk to them and hang out with them. I think it's a great opportunity to do that, because you don't just like feel like you're stuck in your little bubble of your store. You get to actually meet the people that make these products that we sell. And something I did like is that we would get free product from it. Like, not just because, like, sure, getting a toy that's almost $300 for free is pretty awesome. And most of my toys that I own, I've only bought 2 toys with my own money in the 4 years that I worked there. Every other toy that I own was free. And while that was awesome and I didn't have to spend over hundreds of dollars, it made it so helpful to sell a product, because you got to know the product in a more intimate way, and you would want to like share those intimate things with your customer, but it would make it easier to like be able to know like the material, the motor, the charge time, the vibration, stuff like that. You'd be able to explain it in a deeper way. And being able to go to these meetings and ask these representatives those questions and being able to give the representatives feedback that they could share with the brands and stuff like that I miss that, because it just felt so educational, and it was so cool to see that, to get inspired by them too, because a lot of the representatives for brands worked in the store part. Like, they were in the retail part of working in the adult world, and then they moved up, and I found that really inspirational, and I do miss that. I do miss being able to have that opportunity and meet representatives and stuff like that. I thought it was really, really cool and really worth it. I mean, of course, I hated waking up early to go all the way to a meeting, and then have to work after that. But at the same time, I just found it so educational, especially with brands that I love. Like, I love Wow Tech. I love Wow Tech, and being able to meet them and get to know them and learn from them was very cool. And the last thing that I don't miss, and this is probably the spiciest one, is getting hit on or sexually harassed. Yes, so okay, if you're gonna work at an adult store, something that you're going to have to understand is inevitable, is you're going to have people come in and hit on you or say really inappropriate things to you and think that it's okay because we're in an adult store. The amount of people that I had people tell me, well, we're in a sex store, so this is okay. It's like, no, it's really not. Because we're in a sex store doesn't mean it's not sexual harassment. And I hated it when people would do it to my associates. It would piss me off. And my associates would be too, like, they wouldn't say anything. And I'm like, okay, I'm not that person. I'm not. Like, I know this is my job. I know that I get paid. But if you think for 1 millisecond that I'm going to let someone disrespect me or say something inappropriate to me or sexually harass me and I'm just going to let it happen, no. I have more respect for myself and self-worth, and I'm not going to let them do that. And I have a lot of respect for my coworkers. And I'm not afraid to put the fear of God into some dude who just walks into the store just to be creepy. Like, we would have people touch us, like, not like touch our arms, but like touch us, like touch our butts or touch us or sexual innuendos, or like ask us out on dates. And it's like, you do realize this is a place of business, right? And that we're human beings. Like, I know that we're all a bunch of female-bodied people, but we're still people. So what makes you think this is okay? Like, really, like, think about it. Because you look kind of stupid, but you might not be stupid. So what in the hell made you wake up and be like, I'm gonna go, and I'm gonna go talk to those girls, and I'm gonna say something about my dick, or I'm gonna show them a picture of my penis, and it's gonna be okay, or I'm gonna walk in, and I'm gonna flash them my junk, and it's gonna be okay. No, there's a line. We are a safe space, you know, we're a safe space, but there is a line. There's a line. And unfortunately, in any kind of retail, you're going to probably get some sexual harassment. Working in an adult store, it's worse. And you have to learn how to toughen up. You have to learn how to be a rock and how to stand up for yourself and for your coworkers. You can't let people talk to you like that, and if you get fired for defending yourself, then baby, that was not the job for you, and you need to go work somewhere else. Because your people, your higher ups, the people you work for, should understand that if this person sexually harasses you and is being inappropriate, and they get mad at you for defending yourself, they are sending the wrong message, and you don't want to work there anyway. They should defend you, they should protect you. You should feel like you are safe working there. Because, unfortunately, because you work somewhere that is in the sex industry, you're going to have people who see you in a way. They're going to see you as a sex object. I would get asked so many times, or told, I bet you're a freak. I bet you do freaky things. I bet you like freaky things. I bet you have so many toys. How many toys do you like? Do you like them? How do you use them? Would you tell me in detail how much, like, what you like? No, I won't. Or, I bet your boyfriend loves that you work here. He's cool with it. I mean, it's been awesome for our life and the education of, like, our relationship. It's helped a lot, sure. And it's helped me personally and understand my sexuality personally. But, like, he's cool with it. I don't know what it has to do with anything. My boyfriend would never let me work here. He would never let me work here. Or I would never let my girlfriend work here. Why? Because you're so insecure? Really? Like, I would never let my partner work here. And it wasn't just like hetero couples that would say that. It wasn't just like men saying that about their girlfriends or wives. It was like every partner. Every kind of partner. I could never let my partner work here. But it's like, but you're here buying stuff. What is the difference? What is the difference? You know, I don't know, but like, I will not miss people saying inappropriate things to me or people getting close to me and thinking that they can touch me. Like, I don't like when strangers touch me in general, but when it's like you're being creepy and thinking you can touch me, no. And when you think that you can tell me in brutal detail your whole sexual experience, like, I know I'm here to create a safe place for you to talk about your sexual desires, to learn about, like, yourself, but I'm not here to be told a play-by-play about the time that you hooked up with Johnson on the side of the road in your van. That's not, like, I don't think you understand how inappropriate that is. Like, in brutal detail. Not just like, this was the first time I had sex with a man. I'm a man and had sex with another man. No, it's like, you're telling me, like, certain things that I don't need to know. And all because it's the industry, and I don't know who, I just feel like I need to talk to someone directly. If you're watching this video, and you're one of those people that thinks it's okay to go to an adult store and say shit like that, or do stuff like that, I'm gonna tell you right now, it's not. It is still a retail establishment, it is still a business, and these people are people, and they deserve your respect, and if you can't go in there and be respectful and be nice to someone and talk to them like a human being, then don't go in there. Shop online, stay at home, by yourself, because that's what's going to end up anyway, is you're going to be alone. So stop. Have some respect, and if you go in there and one of those people punches you in the face for being sexually inappropriate, well, maybe that was coming to you. So just, stop. And also, oh my God, we would have girls that would encourage it, that would be okay with it. No, because if you allow it to happen, it's going to happen to everybody. Don't encourage it. It is not okay for someone to do that to you. If they want to hit on you after you're off work, that's fine. But when you're on the clock, it is not okay. Have a little more self-respect, and just, like, don't do that. It is not okay. And yeah, I just don't, like, I don't miss it. I don't miss it. I don't. And, like, I swear, I was starting to get more mouthy and just more, like, on edge about it, because, like, people freak me out. And, like, I don't know. Like, we had a guy one day call us and say he was going to be waiting for us outside. And typically, if I was working at a different establishment, I'd be like, whatever, this guy's prank calling us. But since we worked at an adult store, it was like, I don't know what the hell this guy is, like, actually going to do. So I called the police and had them wait there until we went home. Because, like, I'm not going to risk me and my associate possibly getting assaulted. So, but I don't miss that. I can't even explain enough how much I don't miss that. Okay, so there are a couple of things that I don't miss about working at an adult store, and some things that I do miss. And there is always going to be a give and a take when it comes to a job. Always. And some advice that I like to give people when they tell me they want to work at an adult store is really think about what that means. Really think about, because it's not just about selling vibrators and dildos and ha. It's not. It is a job, but it's also you're educating people. You're creating a safe place for people. That is your job, to help people understand what you're doing and what they're doing, and to educate them and make them feel safe and taken care of, basically. And this isn't just like something, this is sex. It isn't something simple. This is sex. And something I like to suggest is maybe a day or so, or the day of your interview, come in maybe 30 minutes beforehand and talk to the associates. Ask them what their day-to-day is, what to expect, what their favorite part about the job is, like their favorite experience of the job, what they love about the job. Because that way you'll get more of an understanding of what you could be getting into. And think about if that's something you're okay with. If you're okay with the positive things, but also if you're okay with the negative things, and if you're prepared for them. Because I don't want this video or anything to deter people from wanting to go and work at an adult store, because it's an amazing experience, just as long as you understand what it is. Because we'd hire people who I think would think it was just like, yeah, we're selling sex toys, ha, and then would realize that it's a lot more than that, and then they would quit. So just think about it before you go into it, and think about it from all angles, and understand that it's an adult store in the sex industry, and there are going to be things that are good and things that are not. So, but yeah, all in all, I don't miss working there. I do miss working in the industry. I love the industry, and if I had the opportunity to work in the adult industry and like the sex industry again, I would take it. But would I work at the store that I worked at for 4 years? No. I wouldn't work for those people again. Absolutely not. I am so glad that I made the decision I made. I'm glad that I don't work there anymore. I miss the people I worked with, but I don't miss working for those people. And I'm glad that I finally cut the cord and moved on, because I think I would have burned the building down if not. And it was a really hard decision for me, because the job was very important to me. I loved it so much. It helped me grow into this person that I am now and to have a lot of confidence and strength. But it also destroyed parts of me and ruined a lot of me. And there were days where I would have rather died than come into work. Just a lot of experiences that really sucked and were really hard. And it was a difficult decision to make, because I always tell people it's like breaking up with a partner. When you love a job and you want to stay with that job, but it's just not giving you all the things that you need it to give you. And you have to leave it behind. And it did. It felt like I was leaving a friend or a partner or a family member, because the place had its claws in me so deep that that it was really hard. But now that I'm not there, now that I'm out of it, I'm okay, and I'm really glad that I am. And I love my job now. I love the people I work with. I love the people I work for. I love my manager. I love what I do. And that's nice, because near the end of working at the adult store, I started to lose my fire. I stopped loving my job. I stopped going there. I stopped loving going there. I stopped loving helping people. And I was afraid that if I didn't leave, I would stay in that situation, eventually become depressed, and never feel that again. And when I got this job, I was afraid that I was never going to feel the same fire. But I do. I feel that fire that I had when I first started at at that job. I almost said what it was called. At that job, at the adult store, like, I have that fire again. And I'm so happy that I do, because I never thought I'd get it back again. I never thought that I'd love a job as much as I loved working there at the adult store. But luckily, I do. And I think that's a metaphor for things, you know? Sometimes you have to take your happiness and what's right for you into more consideration. And I know that's hard, but sometimes at the end of the day, your mental health and your happiness and your well-being is more important. Because if your mental health deteriorates and your well-being gets destroyed, you're not going to be able to do the things that you have to do. So, and I know for some people that is not a decision that they can make easily. It wasn't easy for me. I got in between that and that job and getting this one, I got 2 eviction notices. I almost got my power shut off. I could barely pay rent. It was hard to go to job interviews because I didn't have money for it. So it wasn't easy, but, and it still isn't. I'm still getting back on my feet, but I'm a lot happier, and that is more important to me than anything. So yeah, but I'm gonna go. I'm gonna eat. I'm gonna let my cats in because they're losing their minds. I'm gonna change into some pajamas. I'm gonna put my sheets back on my bed, and I'll see you later. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions or want me to make more videos about working at the adult store and maybe sharing more of the information that I carry and the education that I have, because I've been keeping up on it. I keep educating myself even though I don't work there anymore. I've thought about making another channel about it because, again, Utah's sexual education system really sucks. So, and I hope you have a wonderful day and a beautiful night. And this is Kat signing off. Bye.